So John Wall suffered an unexpected Achilles injury and may not be back until late next season. So now the Wizards are in a really tough spot where they may end up losing Bradley Beal because of the length of his contract, so they may have to look at trading him, and a similar thing could be said for Otto Porter, but I'm going to spend a lot of this video trying to see if they don't actually have to go that route, and if they can build this thing up, even with John Wall missing the time that he is. But we are going to talk about John Wall a bit. This really sucks, man, because John Wall at one time was one of the more exciting players in the NBA, and one of the best as well. And to see all of this happening, you feel for the guy and you hope that he can climb out of this. But the world is still going to go on. The NBA is still got to happen, so we got to talk about this stuff. I don't know how good he's going to be once he's back and healthy, but it is time to talk about Bradley Beal a little bit. So, like I said, Beal's contract is up in 2021, so in a way, you basically have just next season to convince Beal to stay. Now, maybe he really wants to stay in Washington, and he'd be willing to accept a max deal, and it wouldn't matter if you were awful, but I think the chances of that happening are not exactly the best for the Wiz. So how can they actually be decent? Well, while their assets are not exactly loaded, I do think they have a few things that, if they go correctly, could climb them out of this hole. Number one is Scott Brooks needs to play Troy Brown Jr. already. He's 6'7", he's got point guard skills, he can play the wing position, and this team is desperate for any kind of talent, and I really don't understand why Brooks has not played him, because, I mean, who's Brooks even had out there this season? Between Kelly Oubre for a while, and Jeff Green, and whoever the hell else was on this team, I don't understand why they're just not playing their first round draft pick when the team isn't even good. So just put him out there, please. And then we have to look at the Wizards draft pick for this season, which could be around number 7 or 8. Some mock drafts have them taking Jackson Hayes, a 7-foot rim runner. Others look at DeAndre Hunter, who's a two-way wing, who could be a pretty good slashing player as well. Nailing it on that draft pick would be a big step towards them not being awful next season. Now we have to look at Otto Porter. His performance without John Wall has been a bit disappointing. I was hoping that he would be a lot more aggressive and show that he can go off the dribble and just attack defenses and not be this dude who stands in the corner and shoots like 2 threes a game. Didn't really happen, and maybe they could get a good return for Otto. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he was still on this team moving forward. Another way they could actually get a player is through Jan Mahimi's contract. A contract that has killed them for the last few seasons, as he's making $15 million a year. But he is going to be an expiring. So I think there's a chance you could swap him for a player who's actually good, who's on a longer deal, and the other team can just get themselves out of that money faster. Unfortunately, the only guy I can think of is Kyle Anderson, whose contract is pretty good. He has upside, and the Grizzlies may end up trading their whole team if Conley and Gasol are done by this deadline or the offseason. I think Anderson could be nice for the Wizards. He doesn't put up a whole lot of stats, but he's just solid all around. Occasionally a little hesitant, I'll give you that, but I think he's a positive. Now, if that doesn't sound amazing, I agree, but what are you going to do? They should also re-sign Thomas Satoransky. Scott Brooks, if I can crap on him a little bit more, he never has realized how good Satoransky really is. I mean, in the month of January without John Wall, he averaged like 11 points, 6.5 assists, 5 rebounds. He was efficient, he's a good defender, and I don't think you're going to have to break the bank to re-sign him. Probably somewhere between $7 to maybe $11 million, and if they want to be a respectable team, then they're going to need him. You've also got Thomas Bryant at the center position, who has at least had moments this year where he's grabbed double-digit rebounds and looked capable enough in the pick and roll. He may be your only option at the 5, since I don't think he's going to be that expensive. Dwight Howard may end up accepting his player option, but who knows if Dwight's even going to play again. So you're hoping that Bryant can be decent. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for how this team could maybe still be okay. Pretty much everything has to go well for them. And even if you map out a way to where it can, where maybe they nail it on the draft pick and whatever, it may still not be enough for them to really be respectable. Like maybe they do all that and they get the 6th seed in the East. And then because John Wall, even if he does come back, he may not be the same guy anymore. It may still be the right move to trade Bradley Beal and go for the full-on rebuild, but I'm just trying to find a way in which they don't have to trade their 6-year-old shooting guard who could potentially average like 30 points a game. But anyway, this team was already not looking good. And now John Wall getting another injury forces these guys into a tough spot.